All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're excited about this opportunity to talk about our paramedic lateral firefighter process, and we just want to jump right into it. So before we get started, I'm going to let Cal take the mic here. He's our deputy director in our human resource department, talking about some upcoming opportunities.
Yeah, no, thank you, Kelly. So yeah, we're excited. We have some great opportunities coming up for lateral paramedics and lateral firefighters. Recruiting is going to start February 1st through the 28th. We have some great information online. If you go to our website, you'll be able to go on there and see what is specific to you, whether you're a paramedic or a firefighter for another department. You can click on our links. It'll tell you exactly what we're looking for with the certifications and years of time that you have. If you were selected to come over with Unified Fire Authority, it will tell you exactly what your pay structure would be, and really give you a lot of really good information about the process and what to expect. We're anticipating the testing to happen in the month of March, so we'll have paramedics and EMT and advanced EMT separated when it comes to that, but we're going to get that done. After the testing is done and we get conditional and final offers out, we're anticipating a 4-week, we're calling it a 4-week orientation, 4-week camp that will start for those that are lateraling over. For those individuals that have further questions, always reach out to the HR division. We're here to help you and answer specific questions. We know sometimes it's a tough decision, and we know that there's a lot that goes into play. So we're here as a resource. So please feel free and reach out anytime.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And we're excited to have this opportunity. We've got 3 of our recent laterals here with us. They've agreed to share their experiences, share some of their maybe some of the concerns they had moving over. And maybe let's just start right there with you mentioned the 4-week orientation camp. If you guys want to just jump in and start sharing maybe what some of those experiences were like for you.
Yeah, I was a little taken back when I heard it was a 4-month camp, and then looked into it further. It was a 4-week, and it wasn't really a camp. Like Cal mentioned, it was more of an orientation. They really respected that we had some knowledge and experience behind us, and so they didn't treat us like newbies. They would take us in, and we would go over concepts and skills, ground ladders and forcible entry, and rescue and salvage, and all kinds of operational things. And they would just say, "Hey, this is what we want you to think about, and you're welcome to do it your way. But try this method, try that method." And we ran through them, each one of us, until we felt comfortable. Wouldn't you agree, Josh?
Yeah, the thing I appreciated about the camp is they didn't focus on teaching us how to pull fire hose, necessarily how to throw ladders, stuff like that. It was more how Unified does it. This is how Unified loads their hose. This is how Unified does VEIS, etc. So, I appreciated that the cadre really wanted us to succeed, and they weren't there to try to trick us. They genuinely just wanted us to learn the Unified way and the differences of how each department does things. So, all in all, it was a really good experience, and I learned a lot. So,
I agree.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think the biggest thing for me that I really appreciated was that it wasn't so much that they're just like, this is how we do it, this is how you're going to do it. They respected us as individuals coming with a knowledge base already. And so from the get-go, they're like, hey, teach us what you guys know. Maybe you guys can teach us some things too. So, from the very get-go, I was put to ease, and they're like, hey, we want you to take your stress level from here and bring it down to here. We're all a family here. And so from day one, it was smooth, it was easy, and it took all my anxiety and it just brought it down.
They didn't make you run towers?
no towers.
Training cadre is getting soft out there.
That's right.
All right.
And part of that process was also medical training. We weren't in fire training for the whole 4 weeks. We went through some medical stuff as well, and it was split up probably like 2/3 fire and 1/3 medical, something like that.
I think it was 3 weeks fire, 1 week medical.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. So you guys made the decision to move over, and I'm sure that wasn't an easy decision for you. Maybe talk about some of the factors that went into that decision.
Well, I think for me is looking at what Unified can offer. There's such a variety of opportunities that Unified can have as far as call volume and the type of calls, the clientele that we go on. You know, we have such different cities. With those different cities, you're going to have different target hazards, different clientele. There's Holiday, Magna, Eagle Mountain, Riverton. They're so different in what they can offer you. So you really can find what you want out of your day-to-day and your 48-hour shift. And if you don't like it, there's so many other opportunities, you know, that you can get variety. If you want to be busy, you can be busy. If you want to be in the middle, you can be in the middle. You want to be at a slower station, we have that as well. So I think that's one of the biggest things that Unified can offer, is just that huge variety of clientele and type of calls that you're consistently going on.
I absolutely agree, 100%. In my first year here as a lateral paramedic, I roved into 23 out of the 24 stations, and so I got to see all of it, except for Immigration Canyon, but I'm still pulling to get there. But it's huge variety, call volume, clientele, like you say, apparatus, equipment, terrain, you know, everything that's goes into those different stations. And
and I think it's safe to say that all three of us coming over were at very different spots in our personal life and our personal careers as far as years on and experience levels, and as what we were looking for. And the thing that I've kind of found is that all three of us have probably already gone very different directions, but yet it has suited all of us. Right, I'm very happy with the direction that I've been able to take so far in such a short period of time. But like Josh was saying, it's got something for everybody. You just have to find what works for you and what you're looking for, and it's there.
I'm familiar with Josh because he and I went through the lateral process together. But what's your years of experience and stuff?
So for me, I've got 15 years as a firefighter, coming up on 11 years as a medic, and I've been with my previous department for 7 years. Josh and I came from the same department, and so we had a lot of conversations after he lateraled over. My brother also lateraled over in the same time frame, so I had a lot of conversations with my brother as well, and it was just trying to find, hey, is that lateral process something that I should be looking at as well? Like, how does it level me up? Where does it benefit me? And one of the things that Josh and I talked about that really sealed the deal for me, it was this guy. I got to give him credit. We were having conversations, and we were talking about what he missed about the old department, what benefits he was getting at Unified, and I asked him, I said, hey, if you had the opportunity to do it again, would you do it? And he said 100 times out of 100, and that was sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm completely satisfied with my decision as well. And there was a lot of factors that I didn't really know. You know, you see the department from the outside, and you go, well, that's a big department, but you don't really know how big it is until you get into it and start working in all the different specialties and ways you can diversify. But it's been fantastic, and I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think one more thing worth highlighting with Unified is if you need to go into a day position or something like that, just because of the sheer size of our department, we have so many day positions available. Whether you have a change at home or whatever the situation is, you can either permanently go into a days, or if you just need a temporary day position, Unified has so many opportunities available to facilitate that, because we all know that with our home life things change, and you know, it seemed like it's more common than not, guys will need to have a change, whether that be temporary or long term. So Unified can offer that, where some other smaller departments can't offer it quite like we can.
Yeah, one other motivating fact for me was just the pay scale. You know, it was quite a bit more than I was making at the department I was working at, and I think one of the things that I try and encourage people to do if they're thinking about lateraling over is look at our pay scale and look at Unified has a commitment to be at the top 3 in the valley at any given time. So if another department gets a raise, then Unified's going to get a raise eventually. So that really motivated me, and I'm really, really satisfied.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. So you probably went through some initial difficult processes in order to make that decision, and then once you made that decision, maybe speak to the process, whether it was difficult, some of the maybe hurdles, or maybe there weren't any hurdles. You know, just kind of the process of moving over and how that worked for you.
Well, anytime you switch jobs, it's kind of a scary decision, right? The good thing about the lateral process for me was like you can go in and take the test, and you're not committing to anything, right? You're just going in and taking a test. If you pass the written test, and then they have a paramedic skills test. Once you pass those, then you have battalion chief interviews, and then from there you got background investigation and whatever. So there's a little bit of a time lag on that first one, and I think Cal can speak to that. I think they've trimmed it down quite a bit. We had a little bit of just a delay where we were just kind of waiting to hear what was going on, and I think they've, I don't know, Nate, for you, has it been trimmed down a little bit and not as much waiting time as
you
we
know?
had?
I don't quite understand or know how long you guys waited. For me, it definitely felt like there was a good time period between going through the testing process and then before I heard anything else again. And that was a lot of time of me sitting in my own brain as well. So maybe that made time feel even longer. But like you said, anytime you make a switch or a move, it's stress. It's difficult. You know, am I doing the right thing? And I've got 2 young kids, and so it's just like, is this the right thing for my family as well? You know, and so the longer you sit in your head, the more kind of stress and anxiety there was with it. And but once they finally got the ball rolling with the background checks, and then it seemed like everything bang, bang, bang happened real quick.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I can speak a little bit to that for sure. Limiting that amount of time is always a major concern for us because we want to make it as seamless and as smooth as possible. And we've learned a lot with our first 2 lateral camps. I think they were very successful, but there's always room for improvement, and there's always room to streamline things. And I hope we've done that with our next one coming up. What's nice about it is if you go onto our website, you can see exactly what our process is. We have our policies that are on there that are linked. You can also see all the dates that are on there, so you can see exactly when the testing is going to be. You can see exactly when you're going to start your 4-week orientation camp, so hopefully that helps individuals plan out a little bit of their future and their lives coming up. What takes us a tiny bit of time is that background check. Our Special Enforcement Division does an excellent job. They do a very thorough job. And I believe they do it pretty quickly, but we do take that extra minute to go through that and make sure that this is a good fit, both for Unified and for yourselves. So sometimes there is a little bit of a lag just during that time period, and it also depends on how many people we're lateraling over. If it's 2 or 3 or 4 people, it gets done a little quicker than if we're doing 10, 12 people when it comes to that. But the nice thing is you do know exactly what the time frames are, when the start times are, and we're going to do our very best to keep people informed, let them know where they're at in the process, and we're always available for phone calls, questions, and to kind of go over everything. I know the pay scale was mentioned. All of that can be found online as well. We hope that really all the questions that you have are right there. But if there's anything that you are curious about, or if you have times in different departments and how that would work for you, we can help you out with that as well.
I have a question about that, Cal.
Yeah.
So if someone's like looking to lateral now, and they look at our pay scale right now, is that pay scale going to change July 1?
Yeah, so we don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. Our command staff is working with the UFA board, and we're going to have a tentative budget and then a final budget approved. That will change as of July 1 if there is any changes approved by the board and by UFA. So what you see right now is current, what everyone is getting paid currently. Probably around the end of May, we should know what the final budget is and what that approval is going to be, and that'll be posted on our website as well. We will update it with the tentative pay plan changes that will be coming up. But as you see it right now is how it sits. That's a great question.
I think another question people have is benefits, right? One of the departments I work for like to say that their benefits were greater than everybody else's, but in my experience, they're pretty equal across the board. I mean, great medical, dental, vision benefits, 401k opportunities. I think everything's pretty equal to or better than other
Yeah, we try to stay
departments?
competitive. We definitely, look and see what other departments are doing. Utah Retirement Systems is what it is. So if you have credit with your other department and you're already in Tier 1 or Tier 2 and you're lateraling over to us, that doesn't change. That just is what it is. Our benefit package, I feel, is competitive. That's another thing that's on the website as well, where you can dive into it right now and compare what you have and what you would be getting. So it's very transparent when you're making your decision on what's best for you and your family. But I do feel like we have a competitive benefit package for sure. We offer all the life insurance, medical, dental, and there's a lot of things throughout your careers that you're going to be seeing that you're going to have opportunities for as well. We have a VEBA program, which is a Voluntary Employment Benefits Association, which we utilize once individuals max out their sick leave. We buy that time back at 60%, which gets put into this account that is utilized when you retire to pay for medical expenses and healthcare premiums. So it's not things that you might be looking at or eligible for day one, but as you progress in your career, that's something that you're going to start to be eligible for, and I think pays dividends when it is time to retire or move on to the next chapter of your life.
Yeah, that VEBA benefit is something different from other departments. It is a better thing that we offer.
Yeah, other departments have health savings accounts or could have some other vehicles that are like that. This is a vehicle that we looked at and we felt was a good program for us. A lot of retirees come back and really tell us how this has benefited them or allowed them to retire when they wanted to. The goal is starting it as early as you can, getting that money in there, and then really just letting it compound. So not only do you get that once you max out your sick leave, you also get it each pay period. You get 2% put into your VEBA that's department funded, and it starts adding up as of day one of your career. So there's two mechanisms of funding that goes into that account.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Cal. That's some good information. I think it's stuff that we don't always think about all the time as being a perk to moving over, but certainly is one. One more question in regards to the background checks that you mentioned. I think there might be some guys and gals out there that they hear about that and they think, oh, I had that one dark spot whenever. And maybe if you can speak a little bit more to that it doesn't eliminate you as a potential candidate, and you could probably speak more to it.
Yeah, so Chief Ball and his staff, that's why we take that extra minute. We don't want to just print off a form and say, there's something here, this candidate is out. We like to talk to the candidate. We like to figure out if there's something that we have questions about, what happened, where did it happen, and then from there, the Special Enforcement Division gives our hiring board and our command staff a detailed report of what they find. They talk to neighbors, they talk to your current and past job. One thing that makes it a little bit slower for the laterals is we don't reach out to your employer until you tell us, right? This is not something that we like to do until you are pretty close to that final offer. When we say, this is the last piece we need from you, we're going to reach out to your employer. And that's sometimes why it takes an extra minute as well, is we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and that you allow us to speak to them when the time is right. But if there is something that comes up, that's something that they look at and address with you directly and figure out what's going on and then go from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'd like to just let you guys take a minute here at the end and maybe just share a final thought. If there's something that you would say to somebody, I mean, you kind of have a little bit, but just what would you say to somebody considering this opportunity? As a final thought, I guess.
For me, I would just say, look at your entire career. It's really hard for us to make a change once we're a little bit comfortable, right? So we're at our department for 5-10 years. You've established your role, and it can be really, really hard. But look at your entire career. For me, I was a 5-year guy when I moved over, and it was hard. My previous department was a good department. It wasn't like I was super unhappy there. But I looked at it as I have 5 years in, but I have 20 more to go because I'm obviously in Tier 2. So look at the big picture and look at all of the opportunities that Unified can provide you.
Yeah, I had 23 years with one department, and then I retired for a year and came back. So my situation was a little bit different. I had hired on with another department, and 6 or 8 months into it, I started looking at lateral movement. And, it was difficult. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to put them in a lurch. They hired me and had faith in me, and it was tough to leave them, but super glad that I did. And you really just have to, like Josh says, you look at your career and figure out what's going to work for you and your family, and make that move that's going to be the best for you.
Yeah, my situation was a little similar to Josh's. We came from the same department, and I was getting to that point where it was time to make the next step. Also being in Tier 2, I still had 18 years to go, but what are the next steps? What does my current department offer? And what's the competitiveness as well? There's quite a bit of guys in the same age range that were getting ready to make that next step as well. And so it was just figuring out what is for me, and Unified gave me an opportunity to maybe have a little bit more of a say in my career path, where I go from here, which steps I take, rather than just taking the traditional, I go from here to here to here. It broadened those horizons. And so it actually kind of reinvigorated me and gave me some excitement. And, I've got options. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's what the beautiful thing is the options that are offered to us, and they're so immense, so many different opportunities, which is really awesome.
Yeah, so I would just say it might be scary, but go for it. You take the test. It doesn't hurt anything, right? It's just a test, and once you get there, then you have options.
Yeah,
you stay. You can come over. You can do whatever you want, but I would say go for it and take the test.
Yeah, we're excited. We focused on the Paramedic Lateral a lot with these individuals. For the first time, we are offering 2 different laterals coming up. We're doing the Paramedic Lateral this spring, like we said. But we're also doing a Firefighter Lateral, and that's the first of its kind for us. So we're excited to see the opportunities that individuals will have through that firefighter process, and hopefully join our department that way. So we're really trying to figure out the best way to attract and retain the best employees we can. Whether you're a paramedic, an EMT, or an advanced EMT, it's a great opportunity.
Cool, very good. Anything else? Any other questions? No? Okay, we'll wrap it up. All right, well, I think that's it. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate you giving us your time today and your thoughts, and thank you for your decision to come over. We're really happy to have you here with us, and we look forward to what the future holds and who we can potentially bring over and make part of our family over here. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.